What's going on? It's Dirty Red, and I'm making a video today to talk about the thinning of veils that's going on right now on this planet and in this world that we live in. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by veils, I mean, these imaginary veils that are seemingly separating us by dimensions. And I say seemingly because all of these dimensions are really intertwined, from my understanding. And that's just a perception, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. We got a lot of talks about, people shifting in and out of realities. A lot of talk about, the planet and this world we live in shifting into the fifth dimension, you know what I'm saying, the 5D. We got a lot of talk about the end of the world, you know what I'm saying, going on right now, and talks about new world orders. It's a lot of politicians and significant figures, people that are talking about new world orders and stuff. So I'm gonna just speak on, and all this stuff has to do with what's going on right now on the planet for the past, it's been ramping up to all of this, but a lot of the signs and a lot of things are showing, like making itself evident that we're definitely living in these new times and stuff. So I'm gonna just be speaking on that. We even got time speeding up. A lot of people are talking about time and how time seems to be going by faster and faster and faster, and time is speeding up. And they even put out an article saying that that they might be making the days shorter to pretty much match up to what's going on right now. They're saying the days are getting shorter, and they might make that official, I guess. And all that, like I said, has to do with what's going on right now. Time is really an illusion, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, if you're familiar with that type of conversation, if you know, but and I want to say that, everything that I'm saying right now, it's just for entertainment purposes. I gotta let that be known, you know what I'm saying? It's just a fun conversation, you know what I'm saying, that I'm having, to just, trigger certain thoughts and, certain perceptions, and, just expand on imagination, and you know what I'm saying? I just gotta say that before I get into anything I'm about to talk. Now you got nature acting different, you know what I'm saying? Nature is acting real different right now. Like I said, that has to do with all what's going on right now on the planet. You got people speaking of seeing elemental beings and stuff like that. What's your nature spirits, you know what I'm saying? Like fairies, gnomes, elf-like beings, stuff like that. These spirits that are there to protect nature and help that the system of nature keep on flowing, you know what I'm saying? And you also have the more malevolent nature spirits, you know what I'm saying, that not really is, they don't necessarily attack nature, but they just like to cause havoc, which is like with the movie The Gremlins, you know what I'm saying? That those would be malicious elemental beings, you know what I'm saying? Nature beings. And so I'm saying that to say, because you got a lot of new animals that are popping up. For the past handful of years, I've seen article after article, scientists, these people are finding new animals constantly. There's so many, I don't know if y'all have been paying attention, just popping up, crazy looking animals, right? And I call everything like a being, you know what I'm saying? Like aliens almost. Look at an octopus and tell me that don't look like an alien, you know what I'm saying? It's the reason why you see like Armageddon type movies where they have like tentacles coming from the sky get all gloomy, or you'll be floating in space, right? And ship will hit a rock or a comet, it look like it, but then a big eyeball will open up, it'll be like a squid monster or something, right? Now, it's reasons for that. That's a whole nother story, you know what I'm saying? All atmosphere is water, You know what I'm saying? It's just different density levels. But um, yeah, I don't think that any of these beings really go extinct either. You've had many beings pop up that were thought to have been extinct. They were thought to have been extinct, and you know they've brought one the saber tooth version of a saber tooth tiger. They actually brought that back. I'm not really talking about that. There's also other beings though, insects, animals, just beings, right, that have popped up that were thought to be extinct. Um, and I'm like, I don't really think that most of these animals really go extinct. You know what I'm saying? Due to everything that's going on, that certain so-called human beings are projecting and doing to the planet and to the wooded areas, to these forests and all of that stuff, to nature. Um, Once these animals start to go endangered, uh, they go into hiding. You know what I'm saying? There's safe havens. There's worlds within worlds. You know what I'm saying? You can't go straight in no direction without being stopped by a gun. You can't just explore how you would want to. They already will admit that they lie about the map, right? But even on the parts that we think that we're allotted to go to, we don't know the full scope of that, right? And some of these places, these folks won't even go to. You know what I'm saying? They just, but they won't allow you to go. You know what I'm saying? So there's kind of like, yeah, well, there's places you can go, like worlds within worlds. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, once animals are starting to, you know, face danger, or their habitat is facing danger, they and they get help from these different other animals and entities. You know, when stuff cracks off, you'll start to see animals moving together. That's another thing that's going on right now. The animals are acting different. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these animals are migrating. A lot of these animals, the birds, are acting different. Man, you got all type of animals acting different right now if you've been paying attention, doing abnormal stuff. But they seem to all be moving in like in coherence with each other, like they can sense something going on. Animals are really not smart. That top of the food chain, that survival of the fittest mindset that they taught us in high school, especially if you're indigenous, you know what I'm saying, to these lands, that is not how we think. That is not how we are. We don't have, and this, you know what I'm saying, this is for entertainment purposes, you know what I'm saying? I gotta say that. This is just, you know, a fun little talk. But, yeah, I do believe some of us have animal genetics, partly, you know what I'm saying, a part of our genetics, some of us, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really about to get in on that. That's that Neanderthal mindset, you know what I'm saying? A lot of it, we don't have that mindset. We were never, our ancestors didn't have that mindset, you know? Saying all that to say, that these animals are not dumb, you know what I'm saying? They're not dumb. We struggle to survive all the time. Animals don't. They control the way that we associate with everything and the way that we perceive reality. So they have us indoctrinated with this mindset of thinking that we're the most superior, where there's so many different beings and creatures. Octopuses are way smarter, you know what I'm saying, than humans, seemingly, right? Dolphins even, right? And I could keep going, but I'm not about to get in on that. But the animals are acting different, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's something to pay attention to, is why I'm speaking on all of this. Man, you got the people talking about interacting with trees, right? Like, you got videos of trees uprooting and moving. You got trees responding to people's voices. You've got, you know, people saying that they can actually communicate with trees, which I could believe that, right? Trees are very intelligent beings. They've been here for so long, you know what I'm saying? Their lifetimes are way grander than ours. They're longer than ours, right? Especially in the state that we're in now as so-called human beings, right, on this planet. Yeah, man, they like best friends that already know who you are, you know what I'm saying? Go talk to a tree. But I believe, you know what I'm saying, telepathy is definitely, I believe, a thing that I think is normal for beings to do. we even do it still, you know what I'm saying? We're just bogged down with all of this stuff that they have attacking our bodies. But like when you think of somebody and they call you, that's like a form of telepathy, right? Yeah, like so when people say they can communicate and interact with you and hear the trees and all that, I believe that, you know what I'm saying? Trees have feelings, you know, they plants in trees, they've done tests where, you know, they have the intent, or they go to burn a tree, or they'll think about it or say it. And, you know, just like they have like ECG machines for humans, they have devices to where they can monitor a tree's feelings, where like their anxiety will spike, like they understand that you have the intent to cause harm or something, right? Or, you know, they could respond in this type of way, you know what I'm saying? If you are tuned in and tapped in, and you can break out of, you know, the way that we're thought to think about trees and stuff like that, right? But I can believe all of that, you know what I'm saying? And all of this has to do with what's going on. The veils are thinning. The veils are thinning, so you're gonna see a lot more. You're gonna experience a lot more, and all of this stuff was really already here. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? People are starting to see more spirits. People are starting to see things because the veils are thinning. These things were never really elsewhere. They dwell in the same spaces that we dwell in, right? But it's just the way that this so-called matrix or system is set up, right? Where we've got dimensions, we've got worlds within worlds, you know what I'm saying? Gateways, access ways, and all of this stuff going on, right? This is a very expansive place that we live in, and we have this. So we think we know the whole world, and we know so little, you know what I'm saying, due to what we're taught. But a lot is going on. You know, the planet itself is tweaking out right now, right? You got the weather acting different. We haven't had seasons in I don't know how long. We've got tornadoes where it shouldn't be tornadoes. We've got floods where it shouldn't be floods. We've got earthquakes where it shouldn't be earthquakes. You've got, it seems like every volcano is erupting right now. They don't want you guys to recognize what's going on, and they want to separate everything and make it seem like it's so much going on, when really all of this stuff going on, even all the stuff on the news and the stuff that got y'all paying attention to, all of this has to do with what's going on right now, right? You know, the planet, the sun is tweaking. The planet is heating up summer after summer, and if you are aware and tapped into a little bit of what's going on, then we already knew, you know what I'm saying, that this was going to happen, right? A lot of this stuff is just a trip seeing it, right? You know, we got solar rays coming and hitting us, you know what I'm saying, which is not a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? If you know our relation to the sun and its effect on us and our effect on it, and you know what I'm saying, the good that it does for us, that's not really a bad thing. You know, we just need to be in a state where we can adapt to what's going on right now, you know what I'm saying? And that's in every way, you know what I'm saying? That's in every way. You just got to pay attention to what's going on right now. You know, the Schumann resonance is acting different, you know what I'm saying? There's talks of, you know, this pole shifts, you know what I'm saying, the north to south pole. You know, it's a lot going on in the planet right now, you know what I'm saying? You've got talks about they're talking about floating cities and stuff. People are seeing these floating cities and structures in the sky, right?
Oh my God! Whoa!
Recently, sky observers from around the world have been uploading videos in the footage where there was once only blue sky and white clouds. Clear images of cities suddenly appear. Skyscrapers, streets, lights, even moving silhouettes like reflections from another world hanging above our skies. Scientists attempt to explain it, some suggesting it's light refraction similar to a mirage. But the problem is, these cities didn't appear over deserts or oceans, but over places like New York, Beijing, and Paris, lasting for tens of minutes with details precise enough to almost make out building outlines even more astonishing. Some researchers propose this might be a brief leak from a parallel dimension, a momentary overlap between our reality and another world, allowing us to glimpse another civilization through the sky.
My thoughts on that, I do believe that some of that stuff exists, right? All of it might exist. I don't know, but I do believe they have the technology to make us see and perceive things going on in the sky. Which, if you look at certain patents and certain things they could do, you know, a lot of this stuff isn't hidden, but this video isn't about that. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is like a lot of the veils are thinning, and a lot of this stuff was already here. You know, you got people saying UFO after UFO, or, you know, they coined a different term for UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, right? A lot of that is going on right now, you know what I'm saying? And these talks about aliens and all of that, right? All of this stuff has to do with what's going on right now on the planet, right? And this is a major time to be here on this planet, right? This stuff really has been going on, and it's been leading up to this time, right? But right now you can see the stuff happening, right? Just time after time and again. There's prophecies coming true back to back. Biblical prophecies just coming true. Not one, not two, not three. Multiple prophecies coming true. Multiple predictions coming true. Whether you're religious, scientific, or you're just a conspiracy theorist, a lot of things are coming true that people are talking about, right? And a lot of the time, all of y'all really be talking about the same stuff a lot of the time, and y'all argue about details, right? Y'all argue about details a lot of the time that really don't matter in the grand scale of things, right? And I try not to, I have my opinions. I try not to speak division and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to, you know, the people. Most of us, right? Because most of us are here. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, female, male, woman, man. You know what I'm saying? Most of us are here trying, you know what I'm saying? And we're here to see things get better. Now you got these different creatures and alien beings and what people will call demons sometimes. See, that's another thing, right? Whether, you know, some of y'all will speak about angels, demons, aliens, extraterrestrials, and I've seen you guys call a lot of these same beings all of these different things, right? Now, an alien and an extraterrestrial is a very broad description of a being, right? They call them Mexicans aliens. I'm in I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'm in a part where this used to be Mexico. A lot of the southern states, a good portion of them, not, you know what I'm saying, they used to be part of Mexico, right? And, you know, that's you know, it's a lot going on with that right now over here. But yeah, like, you know, by the definition of these words, and y'all get to arguing about that too, right? And I'm like, bro, y'all gotta, you know, look at the bigger picture of things, right? I've seen what some will call an angel. I've seen what some will call demons, right? Multiple demons, or a couple demons. I've seen, but I don't really refer to them like that. I refer to them as extraterrestrials. I call them angels and demons sometimes, and just for the sake of conversation, I don't talk about it a lot, but, you know, for the sake of conversation, because people, you know, have their own understandings of these beings, or light beings. Some people call them light beings, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, a lot of y'all are talking about the same stuff. Now, I want to mention CERN, right? If you don't know what CERN is, it's like a facility where, like, their main thing, they have this huge particle collider, right? A huge particle collider. I'm not about to talk too much on what that is and what it can do, because that's a whole nother video conversation. If you know, you know. You can look it up. There's actually two that I'm aware of, right? But, you know, there's the major one in damn, I can't think of where it's at. I don't know why I forgot. Anyway, this video ain't about that. But yeah, you know, they mess it every time they turn this thing on and they open portals. They constantly try to create their own portals, right? Every time that they do this, though, they are opening portals, right? And they've done, like, I'm trying to remember the dates. You know, they opened that one portal where, and then a little bit after that, you had the incident at the mall, I think in Miami. It was somewhere in Florida, where they had the aliens in the mall, and they had the whole street blocked off, and the whole police department was down there to check out what was going on. You had they started up another time. You had the dude that seen, he got it on camera. There's some aliens in his backyard. That stuff is a lot of the stuff that y'all see on these cameras and stuff. Some of the times it's real stuff. Whether we're talking about like mermaids or we're talking about just all of these different type of beings. Sometimes you see real videos, but they do a good job of starting. What they do like a lot of fake videos, and then they'll pile it on top, and then or just mix it all up. So by the time you do come across real videos, you can't really tell, especially with the technology and the capabilities we have now. You can't really tell what's real or not. But some of the stuff that we do see is real. You know, you had the aliens in his backyard, and they were, and you know, they were, and he was calling them aliens at first. He ended up calling them demons. You know what I'm saying? He was been, you know, supernatural stuff going on around his house ever since then, and you know what I'm saying? This is what I mean when I'm like, a lot of this stuff y'all are calling this, and it's, y'all be talking about the same thing, right? Now, all of that stuff, like I said, all of this stuff is correlated. And all this stuff isn't happening just out of random, just everything going crazy right now and all of this stuff. Talk about that. They even had, though, this article talking about demon face syndrome, right? Now, I don't know if y'all are aware, but some maybe psychologists, I don't know, scientists of some sort, I forgot who, they put out this article. They have this new syndrome. Well, they're saying it's an ancient syndrome, but they do this type of stuff all the time, right? Where they have, and that goes with anything, all of these diagnoses, all of these, like, the broad spectrum of autism, all of this stuff that they really, you know, a lot of people with autism, a lot of kids and all that stuff, these are spiritually inclined people, right? But that part of them doesn't get nurtured in this society and system, right? But they always throwing these labels on top of stuff. Demon face syndrome, and the reason why they brought it up again, it's allegedly like an ancient, right? Which they've probably mentioned it at certain times when it was convenient in the past, but they're only mentioning it right now because it's pretty much where you see somebody in their face is distorted, right? And you can see them in their demon form, right? Now, it's a reason why they're doing a lot of rituals. You know, you have the astral world thing. A lot of people know about that. That's why I'm using it as an example. But it's a lot of that going on, right? Where they're creating vessels, which the AI stuff is kind of going into that too. Because if you know, this body is really just technology. This is, you could call this extraterrestrial technology, the so-called human body, right? Now, because the spirit in this world that we're in is of the same thing, right? There's no separation there. There's no separation from us and God. There's no separation from us and these spirits. There's no separation. That's why I said seemingly when I was talking about dimensions and all this stuff, right? So yeah, they're creating, because they want to bring in certain entities, which if you really pay attention to everything, when they open these portals at CERN and stuff like that, they do these dances and these rituals to where they are in the name of certain gods and goddesses, right? I think they did one with Shiva, which is like a destroyer and creator of worlds, right? I think it's Shiva, if I'm not mistaken. Where, you know, they did that and they opened the portal. Now they're bringing in certain entities and beings, right? Because I don't want to get too off topic, right? Because this is what they're doing. What I'm trying to talk about is the thinning of veils right now, right? They're talking about new world orders and the end of the world, right? But I'm gonna get on that in a minute. This demon face syndrome thing is all just to give an excuse, have people thinking that they're seeing stuff, right? When you're really seeing stuff, your mind isn't playing tricks on you. A lot of people have been seeing things, and you'll see these type of things, right? Because the veils are thinning. These things have always been around. Spirits are always around you. These beings have always been around. There are a lot of beings that are trying to get here now, and there are a lot of beings that are coming here now, but a lot of these different types of beings, like as far as we're talking about aliens, demons, angels, all that stuff, have been here. They've been here, and they've constantly been here, right? But you got a lot of new stuff going on. I'm not gonna lie, but that's what that demon face syndrome thing is all about. When they put that out, that's all that they were trying to do. Now, when they're talking about like the end of the world talk, right? A lot of people are talking about end of the world, right? They control media, whether you realize it or not. A lot of y'all main movements, whether it's Black Lives Matter, feminism, LGBT, whatever, all of that stuff, y'all don't run your own movements, right? A lot of the major movements, right? They control media. A lot of these comments are, I'm not saying it's fake comments, but they used to have real people. We've caught them. It's like, I want to say, I'm not going to say their name, but Kia, you know what I'm saying? The CI, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, because I don't want their attention. But the Kia, right? They pretty much leverage and control information, right? They do a lot more, but that's pretty much their mission statement on their website, right? Which they do that. They do a lot. To first, they have people that would, just like how they used to have people monitoring our phone calls, just like they used to have people doing certain stuff like that. But now it's automated. Now stuff, machines flag it. Now, I don't know if y'all seen like the social media farms where they have like a bunch of phones lined up to do. They can do stuff automatically now, right? And we've seen proof on all of this stuff. So y'all gotta realize what's going on when they're talking about the end of the world. But then you got politicians, all these people talking about ushering in a new world order, right? Because this is the best time, right? This is the best time for anybody, right? I'm about to sum up the video right now, right? This is the best time for any individual, family, any type of entity. An entity is pretty much a thing, right? This is the best time for you to, as a business entity, as a family, a name, a person, right, to become a real superpower in this world right now. If you really know what's going on and you pay attention to them, they're like running around with their heads cut off, right? Oh, and the stuff going on with the waters even, right? They're very reactive to a lot of stuff, right? The stuff going on with these mermaids, with the whales and the dolphins and them blowing up the ocean and all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? All of this stuff going on with the water right now, right? All of this stuff is correlated. This is the best time right now. You don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to go through their systems to become a superpower right now. The money systems is changing. All of this stuff has to do with what's going on and what was to come, right? A lot of prophecies coming true. A lot of things are coming true. Some of this stuff, like with the weather or with these world events, floods happening, a lot of this stuff, they make happen to kind of control. If you know how stuff happens in this world and how things manifest, they make certain things happen so that they could control the storyline, right? They make stuff happen on purpose, right? But some of this stuff is happening outside of their control, right? And you just kind of got to know what the signs are, how to monitor this type of stuff, right? They are, and they know what's going on right now, right? So they're trying to use you guys to go against yourselves. But not only that, they want you guys to manifest their coming into this new world, right? So they're doing that by using transhumanism, right? Which has to do with the integration of AI in the human body, right? In our world, not just our body, but our world. Everything is AI now, right? Everything. None of this stuff is new technology. It really isn't. But they're ushering all this stuff into our society on purpose. And I'm going to do a whole video on that, just transhumanism alone and what they're trying to do, right, with that. They've got Project Bluebeam, where they, if you're aware of what that is, that's pretty much, you know, them pretty much making it seem like there's an alien invasion. And then with that, they want to usher in, you know, because they're trying to usher in this one world system, right? This one world system is what they're trying to do ultimately, right? Where we're all part of the same one world government, you know what I'm saying, that's running everything. They want us to come together on that. These wars, all of this stuff has to do with what's going on right now. It's a show. It's a skit. It's really going on. I don't want you guys to think it's a lot of stuff that's going on that's just orchestrated and it's not what you think. But I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm not saying people aren't really dying. I'm not saying any of that. Some of it is fake, but you know, it's stuff really going on, but it's what's really going on they don't want you guys to really pay attention to, right? Now, their spell work is breaking down, right? Which is why they have to do all of this trickery, right? The Project Bluebeam, where they need to fake an alien invasion, and they have all the technology to do it. They have patents. We've seen photos that they had. They look like UFOs. They're aircrafts, though, right? They have them ready. Shit, excuse me. But if you seen this stuff in the sky, you would think that it's... Man, I had like a sneeze attack. But yeah, if you seen the stuff in the sky, you would be tripping out, right? They have the technology to bring people off of the ground, as if, like, you know what I'm saying, like biblical stuff, or whether you think it's aliens. They have, y'all been talking about the same thing, right? All this stuff going on, these prophecies, a lot of y'all, just conspiracy theorists, y'all been talking about the same thing, right? They have the technology to... They have the patents. They have the technology. It's not really hidden. It's just not talked about. They have the technology to pretty much beam me up, Scotty. You know what I'm saying? Where they picking you up off the ground and you'll be floating in the air. Some of y'all gonna think it's Jesus coming back. Some of y'all gonna think it's the aliens. Some of y'all gonna think it's the Anunnaki coming back. You know what I'm saying? Angels, you know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all think, right? A lot of y'all been talking about the same stuff. They've been controlling y'all on every front, right? Whether you're religious, whether you know what I'm saying? That's why they got y'all fearing God, being God-fearing and all that, because God and the devil is the same thing to them, right? Angels and fallen angels, it's still just angels, you know what I'm saying? You want to talk about the Anunnaki, it's right, if you want to go like extraterrestrial with it, right? Y'all been talking about the same thing, right? Which I'm not trying to compare God to the devil anyway. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm not getting in too deep in on that, you know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to lose me, right? I'm just saying this is what they do, because I'm like, this is why they have devil stuff and trying to turn it Christian. And why y'all talk about they trying to speak about God in a certain light, or they trying to put, this is what they do, right? This is what they do. This is not my opinions, right? This is what they do, right? And if you know anything about, you know, the history of Christianity, these are the same beings, right? You would think that they worship the devil, wouldn't you? If you paid attention to that. These are the same people that usher in this stuff. So I want you guys to just think about why you guys do what you do, and why y'all think what y'all think, and what y'all are perceiving, so that y'all could associate with things in a different way and kind of look at the big picture of things, right? They do all this stuff. Their spell work is breaking down because the veils are breaking. Spell work is a big veil, you know what I'm saying? That kept, because the veils are imaginary, like I said, right? But yeah, a lot of that stuff is breaking down because the veils are thinning, you know what I'm saying? So they need to do all of this stuff and spark confusion so that they can keep you guys separated. They got these fake shootings. They got a lot of stuff going on right now. They're trying to bring in the military. They've been getting ready for that. That's why they've been moving in these tanks and trucks into every major city across America and all over the world, right? A lot of that stuff is going on. But like I said, this is the best time right now for anybody. You don't have to sell your soul. You could really become a real big superpower if you keep up to what's going on. Pay attention to the money system. Pay attention to all these changes happening on in the world, spiritually, worldly, within the economy, within these worlds that they have. And when they're talking about the end of the world, it can't happen the way that they're trying to make it seem, where like we nuke each other. First off, I heard that the nukes are offline, right? These extraterrestrial beings, if you hear these stories and you hear certain ones of these, like certain certain people within the military structure, right? They speak of certain beings stopping. They can't do that. They can't do what they've done in the past. They can't nuke anything right now. It's a lot going on right now. It's a lot of cosmic stuff going on right now. Beings coming here, regulating stuff. These aliens, this alien talk, it's real, but they kind of want to control the way that y'all perceive it, right? As far as the end of the world talk, this is stuff that these are the same people talking about a new world order, right? So these are the same people talking about a new world that are giving y'all thoughts through these different avenues. Y'all don't connect it, but it is connected, right? They're talking about the end of the world, right? This is the end of their world, which is why they're in this world that they've had us in. This is why that they're talking about new world orders and trying to usher in this new world order. AI is a big part of that. and they're trying to control the way that y'all perceive things, and the way what y'all are paying attention to through these Civil War talks and this talks to aliens and all this stuff, right? But this right here is a time to really not worry at all, because none of this stuff, all this stuff is bigger than you, right? Their main goal is not, they are attacking us, but they've been attacking us, right? As far as the people, right? The so-called people, right? But really just pay attention. Don't be scared of the information. Just, you got to know what's going on so you know how to maneuver. But this is a beautiful time to be alive if you want to look at it that way. It's a very opportunistic time. Don't try to sell your soul. They've ushered in, especially with like a lot of indigenous people, they trying to use the black woman, right, to uphold their systems right now a lot, right? This is where you got like the first black person to do this, first black woman to do this, the youngest black kid to do this and all this stuff, right? Because they want to usher them in. One, they're trying to use a black woman to uphold their systems, right? And that has to do with what's going on right now as well, right? Like, the black woman is very significant to this whole structure, right? But this is bigger than any of us, right? This is bigger than any of us, right? It just has a part to play what's going on. These children that are coming back are very special, right? Now they're talking about like the youngest black kid to be a doctor at 12. They're going to college. It's happening more and more, right? And although these are special kids that are coming back to this planet right now, they're doing stuff like that because they're trying to integrate them into their new systems as they're forming their new world, right? They are trying to gain control of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, so really think outside of the box. You know what I'm saying? We're all a part of this system, you know what I'm saying, by default. But, you know what I'm saying, just know that you are your own creation. You are your own world. You know what I'm saying? And you can do anything, right? But just like they're ushering in their new world order, you can usher in yours. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much the gist of it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I wanted to come and say. But that's the video right there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff I talked about, I do want to go in deeper on certain specific things. This video was just to sum it up, right? And kind of tie stuff together vaguely, and to just come to the realization that, you know, we are our own creators. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here. That's what we're intended to do. Every being can be a God in a certain light, right? We're here to create. That's all existence is. It's creation and recreation, and destruction is a part of creation sometimes, right? You just gotta know how to maneuver. But yeah, but that's it though. Like, comment, like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what to do. Yeah. But I'm out though.